All right, let's do this. Thanks so much for coming. If you're here, if you're tuning in, my next guest is a blues artist based out of Harlem with a brand new visual concert album, Eric B. Turner, The Virtual Experience. He's returning to Broadway this year, and he's got plenty more surprises for us. I'm very excited about this artist. He has great songs. Please welcome Eric B. Turner. This is so good. All right, looks like he's patching in now.
Hey, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. Hopefully, we can get this added. Oh, no.
Okay, all right, figure it out.
Oh, boy. Technology. What is
I
the
know.
problem?
Let's see if I can help.
Why would this be a problem? I'm on Zoom calls all the time. Okay. We're getting halfway there.
All right, cool, cool. Are you are you in your normal spot? Are you
Normal spot. Everything is, it's saying that I have to. I'm telling you, the best made plans.
Indeed.
I apologize for this.
No, that's okay. You know what? I mean, if you want, we can just try it again. I mean, maybe it's literally just this one call. Um,
It's saying
unless
that it needs permission, and that has never been the case.
oh, well, there might be a passcode there. Did you do the passcode, or did you give it permission, or oh, oh, here you are again. Yeah. All right. Oh, weird. All right, cool. All right, gotcha.
Finally, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? You're like, oh, fudge. You're like flipped there. Let me see what's going on here. Okay.
Is it flipped back?
All right, here
Okay.
you are, man.
Finally,
Nice. Very cool.
finally, how are
All
you?
right. Eric, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, man.
You are more than welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's great. I've been really listening to your songs, man. They're catchy. They're in my head. They really are.
That
Um,
is the goal. That is the goal. That song that never ends. That's the goal.
how dare you do that to
That's what we're shooting for.
me? That's so good, man. All right. So we have a lot to cover, Eric. So I'm going to try and hit the ground running. Uh,
Okay.
just just to warm up, how's the day treating you so far?
It's been a very busy day, my normal Wednesday.
Mhm. Yeah.
Just in between, I've had to dodge, answer a little bit more phone calls and handle a couple of extra, about I think it's 300 extra texts and and DMs. So yeah, it's been a lot.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you're making me curious. What is a normal week like for you? So you're a blues artist. You've got a bunch going on right now. It's wild.
Depends on what day of the week it is, and that's literally when people say, "Who are you?" I'll say, "Well, it depends on what day." So I have quite a vast pedigree, and in that, as an entertainer, they always say you have to have your main gigs and you have to have your side gigs. And me
Right.
not being able to tour during this season
Hmm.
really has put a halt to my main gig. which is to be on the stage every night. And so
Wow.
I had to fall back onto that which is very familiar to me, my degrees. And my last degree is PhD in psychology. I am a psychologist by degree, and I have a private practice of just counseling. My degree specifically is in counseling psychology, marriage and family counseling to be specific. And
Wow.
so a typical Wednesday is filled with counseling sessions. And in between that, we push our artistry. And I look at one being an occupation and one being the destination, if that makes any kind of sense to you.
Oh yeah, I think it probably makes sense to most artists, especially in New York.
Yeah.
But that is a terrific web you're weaving, though. I had no idea you were
Yeah.
a PhD as well. Especially since you do clearly have a lot of stage work to be doing.
Yes.
Um, so I'm just one more curious question now that we're in that thread. I mean, were you literally pretty much on stage every night, and then you were counseling less, and then able to just pick up more counseling?
That I literally put a halt to the counseling. It started off with doing artist development, which was more so a merge of all of my degrees.
Right.
And I was able to do that even while I was on the road because I'm doing master classes and workshops in various countries. And so, you know, coming back to America, being here in the midst of COVID just really required me to be innovative in
Mm.
regards to using what I have until I get what I need, which is again one of my favorite quotes. Use what you have. And so I had to, go back and literally one or two clients led to 4 to 6, and then 4 to 6 led to 20. And
Right.
it's literally word of mouth. I do no advertising as a counselor because I'm
Mhm.
always clear with all of my clients. I will be returning back to the stage. And so we need to get a grip on this. We need to get a grip on it. And truthfully, the after the completion of my last tour, which was for 5 months in 7 countries,
Right.
the thought was I would be starting onto the Broadway stage in
Mm.
June. And again, Broadway came to a screeching halt as well. So we're
Right.
using what we have till we get what we need.
Well, I think it's great we have you, because this is going to be a great inside scoop for a lot of people that Broadway will continue to exist.
It
you,
will. It
you've got a
will
little
sooner or later.
you've got
And
a behind the
I'm
scenes for
grateful to
that.
have producers that are constantly checking in, like, is everything okay? Like, we're gonna get started soon. Just hold on. It's gonna be okay. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay, I hear you.
I mean,
But
just to have someone tell you it's going to be okay must be incredible.
listen, and here's the thing that I do want all Broadway shows to start placing within their writers. All Broadway shows needs a counselor in the cast.
Yeah. So
And you
you
come with a ready-made clientele right there.
with your families, you're gonna be like, "Don't worry, it's gonna be okay." My Broadway
Yes.
producer said so.
Listen, everything is covered by Broadway. No,
Broadway's got it. All right,
sure.
so you did a pretty perfect segue here. You did a tour of Europe, 5 months, 7 countries.
Yes.
Can you sort of list the countries from beginning to end, what it was like to play in these
Ooh.
brand new places?
So Italy is always my home base. That everywhere I go, I'm always going to make my way back to Italy. And so, of course, that's the starting place. Italy, France, Austria,
Wow.
Denmark,
Ah,
Spain, UK. Missing one. Oh, did I say? I said Denmark. Did I say Denmark?
you said Denmark. Come on, you don't know?
Austria. This is horrible. I feel bad already. Did I? I said France.
All
I
right,
don't. I don't even know if I'm missing Germany.
Germany. Okay, that's
Germany.
that's the missing one.
Germany.
All right. Wow.
That's
Um,
the swing. That's the swing.
yeah. So, Austria. Wow, that's sort of on my list. What was Austria like?
I love it. It's very cold. uh,
Oh, I
in the
didn't know
wintertime.
that.
But I'm usually based in Vienna. My shows are usually based in or around Vienna.
Okay.
This last go round, I did a couple of casinos that were on the outskirts of Vienna, and then I also went to.
Mhm.
It is a famous city, and I'm sorry that it's escaping me. So if they see this, I apologize. But
It's an
it was
itinerary.
way up in the mountains, way, 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 way up in the mountains at the
Oh,
ski
wow.
resort, and
Wow.
that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Was able to do my show, and every night it was there were shows all throughout the night, and so I did a 3 day run there, and
Wow.
just to be around other artists around the world. I was the only live artist. Everyone else was DJs,
Right.
and which again a segue into my house music as well. And so that really worked
Excellent.
perfectly. But yeah, Austria was definitely of Vienna specifically. I have a great fan base there, and I truly love it.
Oh, that's terrific, man. All right, so yeah, when you were I there's a clip on your YouTube of you playing in Italy, and it's a really warm atmosphere, sort of street side. And
Yeah.
you know, how are you able to sort of create that in sort of brand new places? And also just give a little behind the scenes of how you set up these tours, like like casinos in Austria, like I wouldn't even think of that.
Well, listen, leave no stone unturned. But in regards to your first part of the question, how do I
Mhm.
um, develop that relationship, specifically with multiple countries,
Yeah,
multiple languages? The first thing is, which has just been clearly proven over and over again, music is the universal language. And so, it is something about the power of music to join any group,
yeah,
regardless to nationality, regardless to whatever, race, creed. Music binds the human soul together, and I'm just able to just reach people just
yeah.
through the music. But all of this really started with me doing gospel tours. Gospel is huge in Europe during the
Mhm.
winter months. They equivalent Christmas to gospel. Go figure.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I had my gospel group, the Harlem Voices, which was a historical, groundbreaking group in regards to the things that we accomplished. We made a lot of history, broke a lot of records, being
Wow.
together, and from there, I literally year after year would start staying a little longer and creating new relationships with musicians and with booking agents. And my agent at that time in Italy also helped me to really launch off. And then from there, it literally started exploding. People would hear of my show, like you said, you'll see it on YouTube or they'll see it on Instagram, what have you,
Right.
and would then just ask if I could come to their country, and I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it literally
Terrific.
started spreading like that.
That is terrific. Yeah, I don't know what to say. You pretty much nailed it. You did 7 countries. Who wouldn't wanna have a time like that?
Sure.
Uh, Now you told me that you are returning to Broadway, so you've been there
Yes.
before.
Yes.
In fall 2021 in the musical Rock and Roll Man, uh,
Yes.
which you were originally supposed to start working on in June of 2020.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of Broadway musicals, this production is very new. Can you tell us about how you got involved, how you got
Sure.
cast?
Sure.
Yeah.
So a part of my history, the story of Eric B. Turner,
Hmm.
leads me to be the lead singer for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame group, the Drifters,
Oh
and
wow.
that's going back for quite a few of us, including myself, in regards to their music. Drifters started around 1953 and just never stopped, and would always innovatively get new leads or new members as former members died off.
Hmm.
And so I became lead singer for the Drifters prior to really launching off on my solo artistry.
Right.
And the manager of the Drifters and the musical director of the Drifters are also
There you are.
I'm sorry, are also co-writers of the musical Rock and Roll Man.
Oh, get out. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I apologize. People are just calling with birthday messages, and it's irritating me. I'm sorry, but I'm appreciative to them.
Right, right, right.
But again, they are the writers and the not only of the music but of the script, and they knew of my background within musical work and my desire to return to Broadway, and asked if I would play Fats Domino. And so,
Wow.
yeah, and I take that as such an honor. My only regret, not that I had anything to do with it or could have stopped it, was that he died prior to the release of the musical. But the musical in itself is just a true historical piece, and it's about the life of Alan Freed, who is
Hmm.
considered the father of rock and roll,
Hmm.
and the first DJ to really coin the phrase rock and roll. And so, come to find out, me being from Cleveland, Ohio, I never really knew why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was in Cleveland. Well, that's where he coined that phrase, rock and roll. Learn something new every day, right?
Absolutely. You're really you're really throwing me for quite the loop here. I mean, I am a huge Fats Domino fan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love a lot of his hits, and what a terrific role to have.
Yeah, I'm
I
honored.
absolutely. I mean,
I'm truly honored.
what more needs to be said? I mean, he had about 50 albums. Um,
I mean, was just one of the groundbreaking pioneer artists of rock and roll. And I take joy in the fact that you're able to say, like, I'm a Fats Domino fan. Many, of our younger generation, really don't, unless you're a music connoisseur, you really wouldn't know the name Fats Domino or know, his music unless it's been sampled somewhere along the way. Um, for most people, I'll say.
yeah,
So
I
I'm
mean,
grateful to hear that you are aware of who he is and his role and placement in music history.
absolutely. Fortunately, his hits still play on on any good radio station.
Yeah,
So,
sure, sure.
and if someone's got the right app, they can follow through. But absolutely, he is someone whose history is very worth preserving.
Yes, yeah,
Um, it's funny. Have you ever seen? Have you been to? I know I'm butchering the pronunciation. Have you been to New Orleans? Have you gotten to go?
yes.
All
Yeah, no,
right.
that's how Northerners say New Orleans. The Southern, I have family in New Orleans, and they just say New Orleans. But yes,
Yeah,
I have been there several times.
I you know I know that's how it's done, but I it's almost in a way like if I do that, I'll still be doing it wrong. You know what I mean? It's just like New Orleans. I could try it, but I
No,
feel
you
like
did it. You did it. New
all
Orleans.
right, New Orleans. All right, I'll stick to it from now on. All right, we'll break a leg, man, when you get back to
Thank
Broadway.
you. Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
and so we're on the big reveal. Happy birthday!
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so very much.
Thank you very much for sharing this time with us. You're celebrating your birthday all month long with the Blues Birthday Bash. You're releasing
Yes.
covers of your favorite songs every Friday in February with a midnight release. Tell us about putting that together.
So, the one thing that people know about me in the month of February, again, because I desire to celebrate my birthday, I desire to do something, again, here's this word, innovative within music. And
Hmm.
usually I'm doing a big concert somewhere. So last year, for example, I'm selling out the largest club in Rome. And it
Wow.
was phenomenal,
Wow.
phenomenal. The lines all the way down the block when I drove up, and
All
the place was
right.
already sold out. And so, that's what I'm used to doing for my birthday. This year we can't do that, and I was on a walk in Central Park, and it just hit me. We still can do songs and shows with the various musicians. We just need to do it in a different way. And so, what I'm going to do for every Friday in the month of February is release a different blues song. I needed to come up with some gimmick. So, it's Blues Birthday Bash, all the B's, from Eric B. Turner. And so I'm doing a different blues cover, if you will, but doing it my way.
Yeah.
So it won't be exactly like the recording, doing it my way, highlighting one of my favorite blues artists, or honoring them, if you will, by doing the song my way, but with a different band from a different country every week. So week one will be, this coming Friday will be the country of Italy.
All
And
right.
they did not come to play games. They set the bar quite high. And I mean, seriously, quite high. And then
Wow.
week two will be Denmark.
Okay.
And again, they're coming with fire too, because every country wants to up the country that went before them, of course.
Oh, get out. Yeah.
But what I've discovered, even in this, which is so amazing, well, let me finish. Week three will be Brazil, and week four will be the USA. I was just going to end that because then February is over, but there are so many other countries that desire to be a part of it. And so
Oh,
what I
wow.
decided is I'll go for maybe another 6 months and just do one release a month.
Right.
But I'm at the sixth cap of countries that have agreed to be a part of it, from Jamaica to Russia to France to UK. I mean, everyone willingly that I reached out to willingly consented to being a part of it.
Oh
But
my
I
God.
literally had to base the February lineup on who responded first. So
Right.
those three countries responded first. And so I'm looking forward to putting the songs out.
That is an incredible project.
Yeah.
I might have to hopefully check back in with you when you get to Jamaica, because
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some more questions. That's gonna be
Major,
bananas.
major surprise for you with that. And I'm truly, I definitely have to align them with a month that's really important or a date that's really important for me, because their desire to do it really is going to leave a mark on the world overall. And so I'm excited.
You're getting into some Taj Mahal territory, man. You're working with different artists around the world, and
And
in
and and really leave a mark. What are you doing it for it all? What are you doing it for?
yeah,
And so, yeah,
yeah.
that's the desire, to really leave a lasting mark and do something different. I want, when someone else comes along to do it, I want people to say, Eric Buchanan already did that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I'm excited. I'm excited.
we're gonna get more into where you've been leaving a mark already, but real quick, can you tease the song that you're going to be doing with Brazil? Because I'm just very curious about that in particular.
Well, that will require me opening up the the key the computer, which I can get that set up, but
All right. Maybe
I'll get it
yeah.
set up while you're asking the next question.
All right. So this next question is about this new hit song that you have. It's just so great. It is called "Holding On."
Yes.
Um, I listened to it. It's truly, it's just got a lot of meaning. You have such soulful delivery. It was written by Sam Trax. How did this song, and it's getting so many plays. How did this song come into existence? How did you do that? How did you give the emotion and make it so memorable?
So the truth of the matter, in full transparency, the
Hmm.
desire for holding on. Sam and I wrote "Holding On" together. He is Sam is able to really translate my lyrics into music.
Right.
And I've lived in New York for 15 years, and he has been my MD and producer for 15 years. And
Right.
we just really work very, very well together. Um, Holding On, the desire of Holding On was to really take a classic soul and make it current. That was really the thought. How do we take classic soul and make
Right.
it current? And so, if you have a working line like change gonna come, or change is going to come,
Right.
you work with that and you make it current, you make it yours, you make it new. Uh, some kind of way, or not
Yeah.
knowing who Sam Cooke is, but they may not know that. They may not know, may not be aware of that song. And many people are, it immediately takes them back to that place of that song when they heard it, what was going on, what emotions were erupting. Now, I need to also be transparent with you and say, we wrote Holding On 2 years ago. We wrote it 2 years ago and was
Wow.
just sitting on it until
Right.
the release of my project. But Sam tracks, and I say this every interview that I give because it's so profound, specifically if you are a basketball fan. Sam Track said, sometimes in life, God will give you an alley-oop. You have to take the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, wow, that's so profound. We were dealing with, and I'm not rejoicing in this, but we're dealing with a perfect storm of my father's passing, the George Floyd situation here in America, and just the racial tension going on, and then COVID.
Right.
It made
Right.
for a perfect storm to encourage the land and the world with an anthem of hope and an anthem of change. And it has really transcended even our wildest imagination. And it still is. It still is. And so, again, truly grateful, truly honored to have released the song in this season. And it's providing hope, exactly what we wanted it to do.
It really does. It really
Yeah.
is a transcending experience, transcending song. It sort of beats a lot of other songs, honestly, that have attempted the same thing. Like
Yeah.
some of these songs, they really come and go, and you don't really take them in. You don't really believe what they're saying,
Sure.
and you found a way through that, and
Yes. Thank you.
uh,
Thank you.
that's terrific. Yeah, I mean, do you and that's incredible that it was around earlier, before this time. Were you sort of can you talk about, um, anyone who's watching, just pause and go give a listen to Holding On, maybe come back. Can you talk about what was that first writing experience like? Did you go to Sam with an idea? Were the lyrics halfway done? Literally, like, do you remember what time of year it was? Anything like that?
I will want to say it was the fall because we usually do more of our recording in the fall prior to
Mhm,
going on tour
mhm.
to Europe. And literally, we were together, and our writing sessions are not just a couple of hours. I'll stay, I'll stay, with them, and we're just talking and talking and talking. And, we just literally were talking about at that time, again, 2 years ago,
Yeah,
we're now almost 3 years ago, we're just talking about, people need hope. That is one of my big words. Anyone that's ever gone to one of my shows, specifically the gospel shows, I'm always talking about hope, hope, hope. And
yeah,
you need to give people something to hope for. And we just started really just looking back and thinking on, again, those songs that provided hope. And that's where a change is going to come. Sam Cooke came in. And I said, okay, let's take that theme that, listen, we haven't forgotten that it's still on the way.
right.
And where we've had many strides, many accomplishments, many elevations. And when I say we, whatever group you want to put in that blank space, because it's not just for one race, it's not just for one creed, one color. It's for anyone that has been in a place of oppression, anyone that's been marginalized, ostracized, misused, abused. And that goes for, there's a full gambit of array of people and individuals that fit into that category. But literally, the song just started melting together slowly, but
Yeah,
surely. And where things really got real, if you will,
yeah.
was when we started adding on. We always start writing with chorus. That's usually where we're going to start writing the
Okay.
chorus. But then when we got to the verse of, what happened to the days when we had less, but we loved more.
Yeah.
You'll see a picture, if you're familiar with the video, you'll see a picture of my grandmother who just passed away in September at the age of 104.
Mhm.
And just conversations with her, of all that they didn't have that we just freely have now. But
Right.
what they had was love. They had togetherness. They had a sense of community, and they had hope. And so it's to draw the listener's mind back to those days, because again, where that hook comes in, we can live those good times again. What you're
All
seeing
right.
right now is not the end. You just need to know this is not the end of the road.
I'm so
Change.
glad you picked that quote in particular. That's perfect. What you're seeing right now is not the end.
Yeah.
That really that's a great line from the song. In your visual concert album, The Virtual Experience, your lyrics in each of these songs, they cover a lot of things that, and I sort of said this before, a lot of things that people can normally hear so many times without the message ever getting through. But you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
even stop being so thirsty. I thought
Yeah.
was, like it's just I was like, he's totally right.
And what's so funny about that song? I performed that song in Europe several times.
Mhm.
That is a song that does not necessarily translate, in Italy, and so I always have to break it down. I
Right,
always have someone nearby within the various countries that can translate for me, and I explain what I'm talking about. In the
right.
song. Again, when you look at the lyrics of Ain't No Good is the title. When you're looking at the lyrics of Ain't No Good, it's very Americanized. Um, I'm saying in verse 2, you walk right by the dollar, chasing after the dime. Well, the dime is American currency. So
Right, right.
again, but it really makes you think. You're walking by a dollar, which is definitely more money for
Mhm.
you, but you're chasing after a dime, and that's a play on words. People want the
Yeah,
dime piece, they want the 10, but the
yeah.
10 is shiny. Doesn't mean that it's worth more.
Uh,
And now I'm sounding a little bitter, so let me get off that point. But
no, no, no way, man. But yeah, yeah, just terrific. Right, there's so much that could be said about that, but right. So the virtual experience, it's on YouTube now.
yes,
It features It Ain't Easy. Uh, sorry, I just had
ain't no
a
good.
pop. It Ain't Easy, Ain't No Good. Holding
Holding
On,
on,
and
and then
then
dancing in the streets.
Dancing in the Streets. Right,
Yeah,
that's your closer. It's just a good run.
thank you.
You can listen to it if you're doing other stuff. You can
Please,
watch the video.
please.
You shot that, put it all together, and your production company is called Forever 97. During the virtual experience, you say, "Come on, 1997, help me get these people out
And
of their
that's the name
seats."
of the band. That's the name of the band, 1997.
All right, all right. So that's how you put the production company
It's
together.
not it's not my production company. I'm a part of them.
Uh-huh.
So Forever 97 is the label that is releasing my music. 1997 is my band. And these are guys that I've literally performed with for 15 years. So
Wow.
this is that crew that I can just do something with my leg and they're on it. Like they know, they know me like that. Specifically,
Wow.
my producer, my MD, Sam Trax. Again, he's on it. He's on it, and he really. Everyone, every artist, every musician needs a Sam Trax. Not mine. Go and get your own. They need a Sam Trax in their life. Just
Right.
makes my life so much easier. Not that he does everything for me, but he really, makes my artistry shine and knows how to. And so I'm grateful, very, very, very grateful for him and for the entire band and for the label.
You said so many things I just really like about that. Every artist does need a Sam Trax in their life.
They
I
do.
agree.
When you think, and we always, for our birthday, every year, we always post this, you know, he is the Quincy to me being the Ray. If you know music history,
Yeah.
that says it all right there. I'm
Right.
Ray, he's Quincy.
Right.
you
Right.
know, and literally, we always equivalent ourselves to me being Ray Charles, him being Quincy Jones,
Hmm.
because they worked so well together. and I'm grateful for them.
Okay, yeah, terrific. Terrific. And so what happened in 1997? That's just when you all got together, or?
No, I had to do that research on as to why he named this Forever 97, 1997. If you were to do, you seem like a musicologist. And so if you really were to do your research into the
Mhm.
year of 1997,
Uh,
the world of music was booming. Like some of the greatest songs of all times came
wow.
out in 1997. And it really takes Sam to break it down, just like this song. You remember that song? That came out in 1997. And I'm just like, wow, like I never even paid attention to it. But for him, that was an awakening year where music really became in itself a muse to him,
Wow.
to further, always leave that lasting mark in other people's life of I'll never forget that year. Well,
Right.
all of that they're receiving started for him in 1997.
Oh, wow. So what were a few 1997 songs that
We'll have to get Sam on here too.
I I can't
And I mean,
I
I remember 1997, but again, that was an awakening moment for him musically. And
mhm,
as the visionaire CEO of Forever 97, that was just the lasting, like I said, a muse moment for him to
mm,
say, I need to replicate this for those that are coming behind me, that they'll always, remember that particular year in their life, but make music so great that becomes a lasting mark for them.
right. And so what about you? I mean, when you're going for your PhD in psychology, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you could actually a thought must have gone through your mind, like I could hang it up if I wanted to, like um and so you must have had another year another year like that, during your time getting the PhD to keep this motor running.
I would have to admit, me having a PhD simply came about because I was afraid to launch out, and my schooling was free. I worked for the university
Oh,
at
okay.
that time, and if you worked for the university,
Right.
you could go to school for free.
Hmm.
And I
Which
literally at
university was this? Sorry.
University of Akron, University of Akron, in
Where's that?
Ohio, in
Oh,
Ohio,
wow.
in
Okay.
Ohio, and I literally stayed there and just kept getting degree after degree after degree after degree
Mm,
because I was afraid. I'll just say it. I was afraid to launch off because people had sowed seeds of doubt and fear in my mind that had nothing to do with my artistry, but due to the industry.
right.
Like, oh, music is very rough, and the people that I can recall right now saying that, none of them are musicians, none of them are artists. They were just people literally inciting fear. And then 2005, if I was to name the group, it would be 2005.
Yeah.
2005 was my awakening year, or really it was 2004 that I put the plan in motion, where I just said, it's now or never. It's
Wow.
now or never. Either I'm going
Yeah.
to do this or I'm not. And I literally moved, and we would take a whole nother hour and give the full story, but long story
Yeah.
less long, I literally moved to New York
Hmm.
with a flight at a one-way ticket, two suitcases, cash money in my pocket. I had no place to live, no place
Wow.
to work, and
Wow.
literally moved on faith that it was now or never. And for the last 15 years, that was July 21st, 2005. And to this day, I'm not saying that I didn't have hard times, I didn't have some tear filled nights, but I'm saying the last 15 years have been the best 15 years of my life, literally, hands down. And I would say to people in interviews that my worst day in New York or wherever I was in the world outweighs my best day in Ohio.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Uh, can't top that. That is terrific, man. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that.
It's
That is
definitely a long
incredible.
story. You have to wait for the book.
You're doing a book too?
Yeah, somewhere along the way, we got to get a book in there somewhere.
Right. All right. So you covered the band pretty well, Forever 97. So because I was really impressed with the way they were reacting to you. I mean,
Yeah.
these reactions are filmed live, and like there's there's just an understated level of comfort in this
Yes.
video, and now I know you
Yes.
because these guys are they're just like smiling at the right time. They know these songs, and so, maybe just can you tell a bit about the actual forming? It's 97. You know, these people you don't know come together. I mean, um, what was that like?
So a lot of them, no, all of them, I met through Sam Trax. All of them.
Wow.
I met through him, and the majority of them are all musicians that are out of that particular area of New York. And at some point, he started mentoring them and preparing them, for my artistry specifically.
Mhm.
And they're great musicians in their own right. They have their own artistry, but when we come together, we make one sound. And I
Wow.
truly love that. I truly appreciate that. The multiple concerts that I've done here in New York, and even if you look at my touring band, it's the same group. It's
Wow.
the same group. And so outside of when I'm just doing my own solo thing all over the world, but if I'm doing an isolated run in Europe, I'm usually accompanied by my own band because they they hold my strongest comfort level in regards to me being on stage. You want to be on stage with people that know you, know your artistry, know your voice, and that are able to adjust whenever needed, simply because they hear, see, or feel whatever is going on. But
Right.
again, that type of chemistry comes in time only. You can't manufacture that overnight.
Time
Yeah,
only. Very
yeah.
cool. That's a really great insight. Eric, you knocked me for a loop. These are all just the greatest bits of trivia here. Um, Terrific, man. So just we're gonna close up in a little bit, but just while I have you, this thing with the Drifters, you're with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's band. Um, do you wind up traveling for that? Was that just New York, or did
No.
yeah?
I wish. And that's the thing. I never performed with them in New York. Never one time.
That is
I'm
such a common thing. People go to New York, they
Yeah.
book a show out of state.
We
It just happens
always
all the
do out of
time.
state. I never
Yeah.
performed with them in New York, but I've literally been all over the country and the islands with
Wow.
the Drifters. And the one thing about that music, it never dies. The way
Right.
I start the show is we're going to take you back in time when music was pure.
Yeah.
And of course the families love that. Like, you could bring your entire family to a Drifter show and
Oh,
not
yeah.
worry about what they're going to hear.
Right.
Um, and I really, really, really got to hone in on my performing chops, if you will, with the Drifters.
Mhm.
I didn't get to stretch out too much vocally. Um, as I often say to people, I can do 3 back-to-back Drifter shows and not even.
Oh,
I apologize. Not
no,
even
no.
blink. Don't
Thanks. Yeah,
not blink.
thanks for
You
spending time with me here. This is so
And
great.
you know what? I thought about afterwards. I was like, oh my goodness, I hope people are not calling during this. But anyway, I really got to hone in on my chops. But every once in a while, there was only one song I could really stretch out on in the Drifter show. We would do a segment where we would cover one of our favorite songs of an artist that was influenced by the Drifters. And so
Wow.
one would do My Girl, one would do a Four Top song. My Girl, of course, it's in Temptations. One would do, something by the Four Tops, and one would do Twist, and I would always bring up the rear with doing Mustang Sally by Wilson Pickett. And it would just bring the house down because I really could just, as we say in the Black church, I could really squall and lay into the song. And it's so crazy that I got that song almost by mistake, where the guy that used to sing it just said, I want to do Mustang Sally tonight. And I'm just like, okay, no problem.
Right.
I'll sing My Girl. That's not a problem.
Right.
And no, I'm sorry. He wanted to do My Girl that night. And he usually sings Mustang Sally.
Got it.
And so I was just like, I don't know the words, but I'll learn it. And and one of the other guys was like, Doc, you can do it. Everyone calls him Doc. They were like, Doc, you can do it. You got it. And I'm just like, okay. And literally, when I was done singing the song, he walked over to me right there in the show. He said, I will never sing that song again. And it was so funny. And then I wanted to give up the song, because then now it's time to go back into Drifters music.
Right.
You can sing, this magic moment. I can sing that all night long,
Right.
but doing that hardcore, what we call gut-wrenching music, it takes a toll out of you. I'll just say that.
Right. That's so perfect. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like you must have some sort of philosophy. You must come from some place when you're doing a song, like holding on.
Yeah.
And same really for being an actor, like taking on a role like Fats Domino. I mean, do you ever have any sort of like just really abstract out there thoughts about those processes ever, like
Sure. Well, I really look to muster who they were as performers,
mhm,
but never to duplicate,
mhm,
because I can only be me,
right,
as they can only be themselves. But there is an experience. So even though I'm playing Fast Domino in Rock and Roll Man, my my big encore song
mhm,
is me singing. In this particular sing, I sing Smoke Gets in Your Eyes by the Platters. And it just literally brings the house down
wow,
in that moment. And again, I could never be the Platters, of course. They were the Platters. But
yeah,
there's something that the listener wants to recall. There's something that they want to experience as if they did when they first heard that song.
right,
And
right,
so I give them myself with that in mind. Like, I want to take you back. It's literally equivalent to me just taking them by the hand and saying, hey, let's
yeah,
go back to 1963. I'm making up a year. Let's go back to 1963.
they really want to go back, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
wow,
what I really desire to do every night, 8 shows a week. I
yeah,
desire to take them back, take the audience back. And the audience of show number 50 deserves the same thing that the audience of show number 1 received. And so it's
yeah,
about recreating that every night, and making sure that I am at optimum level where I can literally take them there. And that's truly my desire. Even in doing my shows, there's an experience that the individual, that's what I call it, the Eric B. Turner experience. Every show I tell
yeah,
them, listen, this is an experience.
yeah. I could really tell you don't use the word experience lightly, like,
Yeah,
you know,
I love it because it is an experience. And,
mhm,
people that have come to one of my shows, like they walk away saying, I've never, ever seen or heard anything else like that before. And I know that my job is done when I can hear that.
yeah. I mean, when you talk about, you know, the 50th show matters, the first show
Yeah.
matters. That really is. that's the hole in one, man. That's really
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
Wow, you're the real deal, man. Thanks for sharing your time on this
Thank you.
on this special day. We talked a bit about you maybe doing a few bars from "Ain't No Good." Are you still
I
up
do.
for it?
I have, and I can literally go as long as you want me to with
Okay.
that. But I have the track. Let's go to about 2 verses. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So I I have a candle, so there's like a little bit of effects.
Hilarious. I love it. Here we
All right.
go. Stop being so thirsty when you know it ain't no good for you. Oh, stop being so thirsty when you know it ain't no good for you. Mhm. That's the reason I can sing the blues, because I play somebody's fool. Hey, hey, You walk right by the dollar. Chasing after the dime. Oh, you walk right by the dollar. Nice, crisp dollar. Chasing after the dime. Oh, but at the end of the day, you're broke, you're disgusted, and you just wasted your time. I'll leave it there for right now.
Oh man, I can't believe it, man. That was so great. Way to
Thank
go.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That was too good. I don't even know what to
Thank you
say.
so much.
Very nice work from Mr. Eric B. Turner. You can get more from Eric Turner using the links listed in the description for this video. It is February 3rd. A very happy birthday to Eric. Get ready for the Blues
Thank
Birthday
you.
Bash.
Thank you all.
Eric, have a great rest of the
Thank you.
day. All right.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Bye-bye,
You as
everyone.
well. Bye-bye. Excellent.